Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome to our very first episode of the Acquisition Podcast. My name is Jeremy Mateo.
I'm Anthony Jones, and this is technically not our first one. We've had some crappy ones before, but this is our real one, actually.
Our real first official one. But anyway, what's up, guys? This is our first podcast, and me and Anthony have been cooking up some content lately, and we decided, we should definitely start a podcast, even though there's a million podcasts out there. So why do you think? Because I know Anthony was a little apprehensive at first with starting a podcast, but what made you change your mind?
Extremely apprehensive. I don't do this, guys. Before this, I had like 100 followers. I was very skeptical about everyone that tried to follow me, and I just put my nose to the ground, grinded, and that's all I've been doing. I still do that. That's all I do. I'm the guy in the background that just hustles and grinds. The reason why we're doing this, I feel like, because I've seen Jeremy grow his social media network, and I've actually seen him, it's added a lot of value, I would say. I've seen this guy pull investors from there, deals. People just want to do business with the guy because they see his vibe and they like it and they vibe with it. So I've seen that. This guy, Jeremy, my good friend now, convinced me to to start doing this, and that's what I'm doing. I do want to help people. I've actually tried helping my sisters before. I've tried helping a lot of people, but nobody ever wanted to listen to me. And who wants to listen to their multi-million-dollar older brother, right? Nobody does. So, so I'm here, and I'm willing to share any knowledge, anything I can do to help. And
I love it, dude. So, for those, this is kind of our first podcast, and we may reach people who don't know us. So for those that, this is your first time seeing our video, I'll introduce myself, and then Anthony can go after. But what's up? My name is Jeremy Mateo. I started getting into business in the professional world as a real estate agent. I was 19 years old. And then I started doing real estate as an agent, and then probably in like 2021, I got into flipping houses, real estate investing, and I started realizing, okay, I'm kind of tired of flipping houses. I want to own stuff because I feel like the true wealth is generated by having ownership in real estate, and that's kind of where I met Anthony. But Anthony, give us like a 1-minute spiel of like your background.
I love how you said 1 minute. Reason why is, and this guy knows very well that everyone that wants to invest or whatever, they start getting me to talk about my past, my whole life story. And it's like, well, I was born in, and so a 1 minute one will just go real quick. So I was in the Marine Corps. I was in for 8 years. I was a financial management resource analyst for the Marine Corps. I also bought an Irish pub and eatery, an existing business, might I add. Partnered with another guy, sold it, got out of the Marine Corps, came out to beautiful Hawaii, and I started flipping cars. That's how I first got started in the game out here. So I started flipping cars, moved on, created a auto body shop, and then moved to another shop, and then another shop. Also, simultaneously, I invested a lot in real estate, and a lot in real estate, a lot in businesses. That's really what I do. I build out companies.
Nice. So, yeah, that's pretty much our background. I'm kind of like the real estate side, kind of an entrepreneur, like more so a real estate agent. And then Anthony's, strictly hardcore entrepreneur, also invests in real estate. And, kind of like how we were talking about earlier about like social media, that's kind of how we met, When I started thinking about wanting to own real estate, first thing I wanted to do was own some multifamily. And for me, for those that are like wanting to get into like some field or learn something new, I think the best way is to, educate yourself and also network with other people who are doing it. So I wanted to, buy multifamily houses. So I was like, okay, I need to network with people and learn. So I joined a Facebook group called My First Million in Multifamily. And that's how I met Anthony. He posted that he bought like a 72 unit?
Yeah, so at the time, I was actually in escrow for a 72-unit apartment complex.
Yeah.
And at the same time, I was buying a $4 million building right across the street from us. So I was closing both escrows at the same time. I made a little video, and that's how I met this guy. This guy commented. I seen he was from Hawaii, and we're off to the races. We hit each other up, and we met at my shop across the street.
Yeah. So like that's just like, and now we're making a private equity company together. So that's why I'm like so gung ho social media and like being out there, being loud, making content, because you never know who you're gonna meet or who's gonna find you through social media, and it could be Instagram, YouTube, Facebook, and for us it was Facebook. And I saw he was from Hawaii. I was like, whoa, this guy's doing big things. I need to meet this guy. I need to learn from him. And you know, maybe he's too busy, but I just figured I'd reach out and say what's up. And you never know what's it's gonna turn into.
Correction, I'm not from Hawaii.
Oh yeah.
And I'm very careful about how I go about that. When people say,
good,
"Oh,
yeah.
you're from Hawaii," well, no, I live here in Hawaii. I've been here since 2016. But those of you that don't know, you know, you can never be from Hawaii.
Yeah.
You could be from like somewhere else and move to LA and you're considered a local. You can never, ever, ever, don't ever go there. Don't even talk about that.
For those who are actually from Hawaii, you guys know exactly where Anthony's coming from.
Don't even talk about that.
But yeah, dude, like I like that. I respect that. But anyway, so going off of that, like social media and, you know, connecting, that's kind of why we also decided, okay, we got to do a podcast because, you know, you never know who we're going to reach with our videos, with our content, our podcasts. And like Anthony said, we're just trying to help people. You know, Anthony came from a rough, you know, background. He came from the trenches. Same with me. Like I didn't go to private school. I didn't have like, you know, everything handed to me. We came from the ground up. And I feel like there's a lot of people at a lower level who are just getting started. And I feel like some of them are lost. They don't know where to start. And I feel like if we can make content where the little guy, that kid, you know, who's just starting out can watch and learn and inspire, you know, that makes making this content all worth it, you know?
Absolutely. I agree with you. So, you know, I came from absolutely nothing. I really did. I came from the ghetto part of Bakersfield, grew up and just hustled and grinded. I worked since I was, 15 years old. Everyone knows what I've been through, what I've done, where I came from. And I continue to grow. And I just want to put a shout out to anyone out there that's not sure about if they can make it or whatnot. You can do it. You can absolutely do it. If I can do it, you can as well. You just have to be willing to work hard and go at it hard every day. And if you think it, you can do it. And I just want to let everyone know that. Okay, so if you are absolutely lost, or like Jeremy just said, you know, reach out to me. Honestly, I would love to help.
Yeah, like I get that too, like on DMs, like, hey, like I want to get into real estate investing or I want to become a realtor, you know, what's some advice you have? And I love, you know, just giving free game. But going off of that, you know, who we are today, I feel like we are the way we are today because of like, you know, our childhood and all that. And you mentioned like, oh, you started working at 15. What was your first job?
Well, I was going door to door.
Sales.
I was selling newspapers, getting people to subscribe.
Nice.
So that actually made me really good. For a while, I was actually really good at speaking. I had a mouth. I used a mouthpiece. I really did. And you get really comfortable. You start getting the door shut in your face, and it doesn't even faze you after a while. You just become this machine.
Nice.
And you're driven by commission. And honestly, and that's also another way that you can start. I've seen other people mention this, and I'm a wholehearted believer that you can start in sales.
Yeah, absolutely.
Start in sales because you're not taking any risk. You're not risking your own money. You're just out there getting really good at a skill, and you're just sharpening your tool that you can use later whenever you have your own money on the line. Sales, definitely.
Sales. Like my first, when I was like 13 or something, I wasn't officially employed, but my aunt had like a lumpia shop and I was helping, you know, just on the weekends, just trying to get the tips. And to me, like $10 tips, I thought I was rich at the time. And then my mom and my grandma, she opened a Filipino restaurant in downtown. And then my parents took it over in like 2010, 2011. And like, I was just working for tips. Like I was just happy to make some money. You know, I didn't know about like child labor laws at the time, but I just wanted money and I wanted to work, you know? So I was like, kind of like in that life. My parents were entrepreneurs, and my first actual legit, like, okay, you're employed, you're doing paperwork job was like, I think 18, 19. I worked at Zoomies.
You look like you worked at Zoomies, bro. I'm just gonna say
no, for real. And like, I hated it, dude. Like, that's when I realized like, oh, I'm an employee, you know? And I remember like, there's no one in the store. and we're just chilling, and like I like leaned on one of the shelves, and then the manager yelled at me and they're like, "Hey, if you're leaning, you're cleaning." And he gave me the broom and he started making me clean. I'm like, dude, no one's here. And like, even though that was my first taste of sales, because you have to sell, you know, the product, clothes, and all that, that kind of made me, I didn't know it at the time, but I hated it. And I was like, is this what it's like to be employed? And yeah, but it did, like you said, it gave me the speaking skills. It gave me like how to do sales, how to sell people, how to, you know, convince people like, hey, you should buy this. Why? And then provide value. But
Right.
yeah, and like later down the road, like what's some jobs after you did?
Oh man, I don't want to talk about all the jobs that I've done. I worked at KFC.
Oh dang.
I was a dishwasher. I was actually, by the way, let me tell you this: it don't matter what job you do, just be really good at it.
Yeah.
and make it a game.
Yeah.
I would be a dishwasher. I was a dishwasher, and I was very proud of it because at the end of the night, you dictate on when everyone else goes home. So I would be, I had a system going on. And I wanted to be the guy that got everyone home early. And I wanted them to be like, man, we want Anthony to be the dishwasher because I get us home early. So be that guy.
Yeah.
Always be that guy. Be hustling, be grinding, be that guy that everyone wants you to be next to them, you know?
Like whatever you're going to do, you should strive to be the best at it.
Absolutely. You know? It don't matter. If you're working for someone else, who cares? You're going to, one day you'll be that one guy, you know, whatever. You just make that just strive every day, but while you're working for that somebody or whoever it is, just go hard.
Yeah.
Be the best at whatever it is you do, because that's going to help you later. It just builds character.
Yeah, it builds that like competitive drive, right?
Yeah, man, be competitive. Make it a game. That's what I've done. That's honestly how I've been successful. By the way, like when I was in the Marine Corps, I wasn't the fastest runner, but yet I would finish number one. I would finish number one and number two. All my Marine buddies, you guys are going to see this. You guys know I was always number one and number two. And why was that? I was the worst runner in the world. I felt like I would die at the end. My heart wanted to pop out of my chest. But I went hard, and I just made sure I was just very competitive, and I made it a game. And then also, this is another thing that I think that people need to adopt in their daily lives is if you really like to like I'm the laziest person that I know.
Oh,
I seriously am.
He really is.
I like to hurry up and chill. That's my motto. Hurry up and chill.
I like it.
Okay, so if
can you elaborate? What is hurry up and chill?
Hurry up and chill means this is exactly back to the running thing I was talking about. I knew that if I hurried up and got done, I get to chill and relax.
Nice.
So that was my mentality.
Okay.
Hurry up and chill.
Nice. I feel like, so kind of like what we were talking about earlier, like our different jobs. So the reason why I brought that up is like different jobs in our early days kind of contributes to who we are today. And after my job at Zoomies, I started working as a pizza delivery boy, delivering pizzas. And I loved it, bro. Like I was getting tips, I was doing all this. And one thing, now that you say that hurry up and chill, I feel like I was doing that too, because I knew that it's like, okay, if I can deliver pizzas faster than I usually do, one, I can deliver more pizzas. More pizzas means more tips. And then at the end of the day, if everything's done, I can chill, right?
Yeah,
so,
absolutely.
Yeah. And that was another thing too that made me realize, like, okay, if I put in more work, I'll get out more results. So even though I was an employee, I think that was one of my first like eye openers, like, oh, put in more work, get more results, deliver pizzas faster. And while I was delivering too, I was just like listening to like music or audiobooks or whatever I wanted. Sometimes I was eating on the job too, but not the customers' foods, but yeah, like hurry up and chill. And I kind of like see that with you too as well.
Yeah, you see that, right?
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
it's just how it is, man. I mean, like you can do whatever you want in life. You can do anything. You just have to
Hurry up and chill.
Yeah, hurry up and chill. Hurry up and chill.
Nice.
Every day.
Yeah,
But anyway, so why did we do this podcast? Like, why did we start this? Why did we name it The Acquisition? Mm-hmm. I'm going to tell you the reason why we did that is, I would say also shout out to our guy Josh back there. Had a lot, yeah, behind the camera. Yeah. A lot of why we're doing this is we do want to inspire people. We do want to get the message out that you can do whatever you want, and a lot of what builds wealth is acquiring, whether it's items, things, it's real estate, businesses. It's the acquisition, the art of the acquisition. Okay. there's different levels to this. There's different strategies. Okay. And so I'm very big on strategy. I'm a chess player. Josh asked me earlier, well, what do I like to do? What's your favorite sport? I said, chess. Is that considered a sport? I don't know. Basketball, but chess is a game that I like to play. It actually helps me wind down because it's just strategies. Okay. Strategies is what do I mean by that? There's house flippers, right? They have a different strategy. Yeah. My strategy is not necessarily, and by the way, I might cuss a little bit, so I don't know if you could bleep those out. We never even discussed that. We'll bleep those. But like, why once? If you can just keep on, right? Like, why? Like,
no, we're cutting that out.
You probably cut that out. But the house flip thing, you do all this work, you sell once. To me, and God bless you guys. Like, if that's your hustle, I commend you.
It's hard.
For me, I'm going to tell you right now. Well, the way I like to do it is more. I buy real estate for the depreciation.
Yeah, to own it.
And to own it, depreciation, more of the long game. And it's an expense. You get to depreciate it. You get to do a cost segregation. You get to deduct all the interest. You get to pay yourself rent. So there's just all these different levels of strategy, right? Yeah. So when I'm buying a company, if that's one of the first things that I look at, if the owner owns the building, I'm trying to get that building.
Yeah, yeah.
There's different levels of this, right? And so the acquisition is not necessarily just business, real estate. It can be, a car. Yeah, it could be, whatever it is. Yeah. So that's kind of why I wanted to talk about this. A yacht. Yeah. For example.
Anthony just bought a yacht.
I'm excited about it, guys. I've worked my whole life, by the way. I'm not that a-hole that's like, oh, I got this, I got that. Yeah. I've been working and grinding since I was 15.
And I think our next episode is, or maybe another episode, we'll do an episode on the yacht.
Yeah. I think it'll be great.
Oh yeah.
But the depreciation aspect of it, you get to use this thing, you get to depreciate it. We're going to use it as an office in the middle of freaking Waikiki.
We can take out investors,
all kinds of stuff. I mean, honestly, if you can think it, you can do it.
Yeah. And for those, sorry to cut you off, but for those that are watching for the first time, we created a private equity company maybe like 3 months ago, and we are buying businesses. We are acquiring businesses, and the reason why we're buying it, we're trying to grow it, add value, and see where this takes us. And build a portfolio,
Perfect segue. So we're not just buying any businesses.
Oh, yeah.
We have our buy box.
What is our buy box?
Our buy box, our buy box is service-related companies that are primarily from sellers that are old, retiring people, right? Now,
why service companies though?
Service companies, they're easy to set up. They're easy to set up, and they keep on running. You can set it up. When I mean set up, I like to set things up once, set it up,
set it and forget it.
Set it and forget it. Yeah. Basically, just what this guy said. Yeah. You don't have to keep on there's these, and trust me, there's companies out there that make a lot of money. Construction companies, you can set those up as well. They're just a little more complex. Yeah. However, a lot of it's relationship based, things like that. Well, imagine if you have auto body shops. You put in your systems and processes. You put in a manager, and then you put a general manager, and you put processes in there.
Chain of command.
Yeah. Chain of command, all that. And then you just go do something else with your time, and you also give opportunity to your people to move up.
Yeah. You're leveraging people. So you can free up your time and just, rinse and repeat or get another business. But you were talking about service businesses. What are examples of service-based businesses for those that are listening?
So plumbing companies, HVAC companies, auto body companies. There's
roofing.
There's quite a different other companies. Again, it's all about strategy. There's a lot of private equity companies consolidating, right? There's a lot of consolidation around a lot of these type of companies for a reason.
Yeah. And I think that reason mostly is so when you think about it, HVAC, AC, plumbing, auto body, these are essentially, in theory, recession-proof businesses. If another pandemic happened, or if another crazy recession happened, if you get into an accident, you still need an auto body shop. If your AC goes out, God forbid, we're in Hawaii too, it's freaking hot as hell, you're going to call an AC company. If, something's wrong with your roof, plumbing especially,
especially
if
all that.
shit happens, literally, you're going to have to call a plumbing company. So that's kind of the reason why we're targeting these. But you also mentioned from old retirees, people want to get out the game. Why are we targeting people that are retiring?
Now, also, with that being said, a lot of retirees have owned their business for a long time, right? So you have a proven track record in a proven location or what have you, and you have something to go off of. And then a lot of these retirees have not invested into their, I would say, software. They're still doing things the old way. They haven't necessarily worked on the efficiencies that are now capable, we're able to utilize today. They just haven't changed. And with that being said, it's great though, because now we know where the bottom is. If we just keep things exactly the same and we were to purchase that company, we're doing well. I mean, we're buying deep, guys. We're not putting anything at risk. We're buying right here. So if we were to keep things exactly the same,
don't do anything,
not change a thing, we're winning.
Yeah.
So now the fact that we can add value to those companies and make things better and put systems, processes in place is going to be, it's a no-brainer situation again.
So essentially, we're targeting someone or a company that's already successful. We're not buying distressed businesses, It's already profitable. So that way, like Anthony said, once we buy it and we do nothing, it's still cash flowing day one. And that's one of the most important things.
Absolutely. Day one is cash flowing. And on top of that, you have a motivated seller. The guys, these people they're facing,
older,
death.
retired.
They're facing death at this point, So it's like, they're finally realizing it's like, holy cow, how do I want to spend the remaining of my days? I don't want to spend it working. So, but also it's their baby. A lot of these people, it's their baby and they want to see the transition go smooth. They want to be a part of its success. And so now you're buying something that you have the seller, the person that probably created it or it's been in their baby for a long time.
Or inherited it.
Yeah, and they are with you. They are helping you. They want to see it succeed.
Yeah.
And that is extremely important, for the success of the company, for the employees. You want to maintain the employees as well. You want to make sure and come in and make sure that they know that it's going to be.
Yeah, because they don't want to sell it. Even though they sell it, they make all their money. They don't want to sell it to someone and it's just going to, it's going to crash and burn. They want it to be successful.
Also, sorry to cut you off. I'm going to tell you guys this right now. A lot of these retirees, you hear all these real estate agents are always constantly talking about off-market deals, all that, right? I'm sorry.
I talk about off-market deals.
Yeah, which is amazing, right?
Yeah. Those are the best deals.
I'm going to tell you right now, a lot of these sellers or retirees, they own a lot of real estate, people, okay? And they are okay with selling. A lot of them aren't even telling anyone that they're selling, but you come up and you ask them, hey, you own the building? Yes, I own the building. Perfect. Now I got an off-market commercial building in the mix. Now we're talking about buying the building.
Yeah.
And in fact, I've been in deals where I've bought the buildings and I didn't buy the business. And I got the business basically for free.
Yeah.
So the business supports the debt on the building and you get to depreciate, expense, all this stuff. And then you get to grow the business. No-brainer situation, ladies and gentlemen. Holy cow.
So what he's saying is a perfect example of your second location for Autocraft, right? Can we talk numbers on that?
We talked numbers on it.
Yeah. So
all right, look, guys, I'm also
tell us the gist.
I'm also going to say this, okay? You're not necessarily going to get a lot of entrepreneurs. I would say there's very few guys or people out there that love to, for me, it's always been a struggle. Do I talk too much? Do I even do this, right? I got employees, guys. I got employees that are watching. I know they're watching this. Don't act like you guys aren't watching. But they watch this stuff, and the last thing, it's a struggle. I don't want to start talking numbers and things like that too much, but
got it.
I'm okay with talking.
Yeah.
I'm good with it. I've been, it's definitely always in the back of my mind. It's like, who's watching? What is it? But you know what? At the end of the day, who cares?
Yeah.
I'm going to be myself.
Yeah.
I'm going to talk. So I bought the building for $4 million.
Yeah. It's this one right across the street.
Right across the street.
Yeah.
And we're in escrow right now for another basically $4 million building right now.
Yeah.
Getting the business for free.
Yeah.
Same situation.
So you bought the warehouse, $4 million, and then the business was valued at basically nothing. You got it for free.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
there's value.
Yeah, there is value.
But again, a lot of
You didn't pay for it.
No, I didn't pay for it.
It came for free. And that is, I feel like, as a real estate guy, that's like the thing that blew my mind. Like, I didn't really understand it. It's like, oh, like the value is all in the building, but not necessarily. And then that's what you kind of like, made me realize like, oh, there's a lot of value with the business. So if you can just buy a deal where you buy the real estate and the business comes for free, that's like a huge cherry on top.
Huge cherry on top.
Yeah.
And again, the business supports the debt and it pays you.
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
Mm-hmm.
so why wouldn't you want to get into a situation like that? And also, you can go through SBA and you can put 10% down. So if you're looking at looking at a $5 million deal, you're coming out, $500K.
Mm-hmm.
Most of us know, a few people put together,
Oh, yeah,
$100K
dude,
under
yeah. Let me pull out $500K out of my ass.
Okay, look. All right, look, guys, I came from very humble beginnings. I know almost nobody with money. I know some people now, but
it was through your business and time and experience that you met those people,
Right.
And it's not like, uncle, auntie,
and
mom,
not everyone's going
to
to start with a $5 million deal. Maybe you start with a $1 million deal or less. And again, what's $1 million deal? We're talking about 100K. And also, you can get so by the way, you don't just put like 100 grand and then you're like, okay, I own the business and I own the building. No, you also have to have money in the bank account. You're going to have expenses. You have to do projections basically. So one thing I want to urge people is to first start on yourself. Like I said, before, you got to run yourself like a business. Okay. You really do. You should practice on yourself. If you don't know where to begin with yourself. Look at your own finances. Look and see what you're spending. Look and see. Create a P&L, profit and loss statement for yourself. Mm-hmm. If you can run yourself a profit, as a profit center, then now learn how to delegate to other people. Learn how to speak to people, and then from there, start doing a business plan.
Yeah.
If that's what you want to do projections. Just go in like I've done before. This guy knows. I mean, I went in. When I was gonna own an ice cream shop. I was gonna start my own ice cream shop. Okay. When I was in the Marine Corps, I got it in my mind. I don't know why, but I got it in my mind to open up an ice cream shop.
What were you gonna call the ice cream shop?
Shake Your Cookies. I still remember it was gonna be Shake Your Cookies. I had a vision of it. It was gonna be a little shake with a little happy face on it, and the little shaking,
and
like
cookies?
little shake thing. Yeah, it was gonna be a Shake Your Cookies.
I love
and
it.
I already had the concept.
Yeah.
You were gonna,
So how did you? Okay, so you're like, I'm gonna start an ice cream shop. What's next? What did you do?
Well, I went and got a job at Cold Stone.
There you go.
So I started working at Cold Stone.
Yeah.
That's what I did. And so right after my normal Marine Corps job, I would go and I would work at Cold Stone. And I was
to learn, right?
Yeah, to learn, absolutely. And we've talked about this. So those of you that have watched that, our underground podcast,
The first one, the trial run.
This is the first one, right?
The trial run.
Yeah, our trial run.
Yeah.
You guys seen? That's how I started. I worked in an ice cream shop, and I got really skilled. I loved it. It was great. I had a lot of fun.
You learned everything about the business.
And I came to a conclusion that it was not the best business to start. Mm-hmm. And then I went into probably a worst, I would say a worst industry. Mm-hmm. And I ended up buying an Irish pub and eatery, a bar. That was my first business I ever bought.
Thousands of miles away, by the way.
Thousands of miles. Yeah. I'm in San Diego, guys, running my Marines. I'm at the time, I think I was a sergeant in Marines. Mm-hmm. I'm running my Marines, and I'm running a freaking Irish pub and eatery with a business partner. It was
Where? It was in
Tampa, Florida.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you're in San Diego, and you bought a bar in Tampa.
Yes.
Yeah. That's crazy.
Yeah, that was my first ever deal that I did, and I'm going to tell you, it was a lot of fun. I had a lot of fun. We changed the staff.
Yeah. How old were you when you bought this?
I was 25, maybe 24, 25, something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
See, that's crazy. Like, you're 25, you're buying your first business essentially, and you're thousands of miles away.
Yeah.
So like, going off of that, you was thinking about starting a business, right? And then you you bought an existing business. Now,
Right.
Tell me the difference between those two, like starting your own business versus, buying an additional that's already started.
Great question. So, guys, ladies and gentlemen, what I'm going to tell you right now is going to be paramount, okay? So
clip this.
Clip this. There's a reason why a lot of private equity and consolidation companies are not going out and reinventing the wheel and starting companies from scratch. They're buying existing companies. There's a reason why. You want to look at the big leaders in any industry and what they're doing and what the market trends are. Now, these guys are doing it, and there's a reason, because they're not going to waste their time starting a company from nothing on an unproven model or method or what have you. Why not take over an existing business
that's tried and true, already successful,
proven? Absolutely. It's a lot of time wasted. Okay, sure, I've grown companies and I've done really well growing them from nothing to something. But one thing I've learned is it's a lot better and faster and just to go and buy an existing company. It absolutely is. Do not. I'm not. And by the way, go ahead and try it if you feel, because what I've learned throughout my experiences is helping me now, right? And you need to be. It's ought to be a natural progression, right? Business should always be very natural. So some people need to learn the hard way in order to be very, very successful later.
Yeah.
Right. And that's what I did. I mean, I learned, but you can also learn off other people's mistakes.
Yes, absolutely.
One mistake that I would say is starting a company from scratch.
Why is that? Like, would you say like taking a company from like 0 to $1 million? What is that difficulty versus, taking it from 1 million to 2 million?
It's extremely difficult,
Yeah.
And it's not for a for sure thing. That's another thing, right?
When you're starting out, right?
It's not a for sure thing. And not only that, but when you first start, you typically have a lot of energy, right? So would you rather waste all your energy and your gung-ho-ness in starting this from scratch, and then you make it happen? But what if you just started from here and then you have that same energy, right?
Yeah.
And you just take it
and just, duplicate what's already successful. Because I feel like from 0 to $1 million, well, okay, I'm speaking like just thinking like I've never hit $1 million, as an entrepreneur. But I feel like the beginning steps, right? You're kind of experimenting. You're trying anything and everything, and you're seeing what works, what doesn't work, and then okay. But in that process, I feel like finding out what works and what doesn't work, that takes a lot of time. So once you figure out what works, you start doing more of that, and then you start doing less of what doesn't work. But I feel like once you buy an existing company, you look under the hood and say, okay, what are you doing that's obviously working, that took you to this level? Okay, why don't we just replicate that and do more of that? Absolutely. Right?
Yeah, that's what I do. Even now when I take over a business, I don't just like implement all my, my platform onto that company. A lot of these, business owners or old school guys, they have some good techniques, good skills, and you can extract a lot of that. And I take that and I put it into my other companies as well. I make changes based on stuff I learn, so as you're growing, you're also learning, and you're acquiring skill sets and you're implementing into your bigger platform, right? So you can actually grow. You can grow really fast. There's a lot of people making a lot of money right now in consolidation and things like that. Yeah. There's a lot of money.
Speaking of growing fast, let's talk about Autocraft, dude, and like that growth and growing fast. So for those of you who are like watching us for the first time, Anthony owns Autocraft. How many locations do you have currently on Oahu?
3 on Oahu.
Okay.
1 on Kona on the Big Island.
4.
And then. We're in escrow on a fifth one right now, and we're in talks for a 6th, and then in talks for a 7th.
So when you're growing fast, right? I'm sure, like, because I've heard this too. Is like one of the top reasons that kill a business is they're growing too fast. What are your thoughts on that, and how do you prevent yourself from like failing because you're growing fast?
Be preemptive.
Okay.
Just be preemptive. I'm not hiring right now. I'm absolutely not hiring, but I got ads up all over the place.
All the time?
All the time.
Okay.
And
ads
for people.
Like now, workers, employees.
Now, one thing too is you got to look at the constraints, right? Mm-hmm. The biggest constraint right now is people, especially out here in Hawaii. Everybody knows right now the struggle is finding good quality people to work in your companies. So I'm constantly interviewing, hiring, not necessarily me, but I have an assistant, and she looks through all the candidates, and she shoots them to the general manager. That's one of her daily tasks. She checks it out, right?
And this is just happening constantly.
Constantly. Yeah. You want to have processes in your company to fuel the growth, right?
Because if someone quits, like, you don't want to be scrambling for a new employee.
Absolutely,
right?
yeah. So you just want to make sure and just identify the constraints in the system. All these are systems. Businesses are systems. They're processes. They're, with people, right? So that's all you want to do is identify all the constraints, potential constraints in the system of your growth. Identify them, be preemptive, identify them before, and then you implement processes to relieve those constraints. Yeah, easy as that.
Like anticipation, basically, and
absolutely,
being like proactive, like being prepared for a situation before it happens.
Yeah, absolutely. That's it. Yeah. Easy as that. It's not hard. It's not rocket science. You just got to put processes in place. You have to act on those. That's it.
So growing fast, you said one constraint is people. What would you say is the other constraint? Because I remember you said there's like another big constraint when growing.
Well, money.
Exactly.
Money's the other constraint.
And I'm glad you said that, because that's kind of like our next segue with, okay, so our first 3 locations of Autocraft was here in Oahu. The 4th one was in Kona, and that one was technically our Aloha Acquisitions, our first acquisition.
Absolutely, yeah.
So we're kind of co-owning that, right? Autocraft Hawaii and Aloha Acquisitions, but it will be operating as Autocraft Hawaii for the brand. We bought that by using other people's money, right?
We got some investors in.
Yeah, but obviously your first 3 locations, all your money, completely all your own.
Yeah, and so and I could have continued on, as you know. I could have continued. I could have bought that, which I did, right?
Yeah, and you fronted the money.
I fronted the money. I put my own money in, and then even for this next deal, I can keep going. Like the problem is that, again, it's another constraint. I can only do a few deals at a time. It's slow moving. So that's the other constraint that I identified in my system, and henceforth the reason why we're doing all this, right? And the reason why we're also, getting the word out for other people that want to join in on the success.
Yeah, we're raising capital from private investors, giving great returns. I don't know if we can say it publicly, but shoot us a DM, and then
shoot us a DM.
If you're interested in being a private lender, private investor, we're raising capital from private investors and using that to buy businesses. That way we can accelerate fast. And obviously we have our buy box. We have our, okay, we're only buying this business if it has this. If it doesn't, it's not cash flowing day one, we're not going to do it. And I feel like raising capital allows us to, like you said, accelerate faster.
Yeah,
right.
That's what it is. It's the other constraint in the system. You have to make sure that you have an answer for these constraints.
As long as it makes sense, right?
That's funny that you say that.
Yeah, let's talk about that. Okay, so obviously, we're not going to be raising all this money and buy something that doesn't make sense. And the reason why we're giggling is because, obviously we're using social media to raise money from investors. One thing I've noticed is that when we talk to certain demographics, who have a profession, like they're a doctor, engineer, lawyer, they already have their full-time job, right? So if they have a bunch of money and they want to invest it as a passive investor, we're perfect for them. But when we talk to, active investors, essentially other entrepreneurs, they're like, I'm not happy with that turn, or I could do something way better than that.
If it makes sense.
If it makes sense. That's the number one thing.
Which is great.
Yeah, it's cool. But for those who are especially real estate investors, or maybe also doing private equity, and they're, trying to raise money, it's better to raise money from the doctor, lawyer, engineer, because they're looking for something that's passive, hands off, because, they're doing their thing. But don't go to other flippers or other entrepreneurs, because chances are they're also raising, private equity. And I think it's just funny because some other flippers, obviously, we all believe in acting in abundance. We're always trying to help people, but I'll be real. If someone asks me for a private lender, I'm like, dude, I don't have any. If I did, I'd try to get them to lend with us, It's kind of like an unspoken topic, but, we're just trying to help everyone, but it has to make sense.
Right. And then also another thing is one thing that, I don't follow much people. I don't really know these. Some guys will say oh, you guys know this person or that person. I don't watch basketball. I don't watch sports. I don't I'm grinding, guys. I'm literally like working like a lot, and I'm making sure my companies are all like optimized, everything's running. I'm always constantly thinking, what can I do better? What can I, and how can I grow faster? Right. So I ain't got time for all that. But one thing that every once in a while on my feed, just like everyone else, somebody will pop up, that Grant Cardone guy.
Grant Cardone.
Yeah. One thing he does say is do business with me, and I'll do business with you. Right.
Yeah.
So one of those things, like if you guys, like do business with us, and we'll definitely, I'd love to share connections. There's plenty of all of it to go around, honestly. We can't do every deal, guys. We can't do everything. So sometimes a deal might come through, or an investor that we can't take on right now, and we might meet you, and we might just be like, hey, this seems perfect for you, though, not for us. Yeah. Might be too small, whatever, you know?
And same thing like when we're also trying to raise money and someone comes to us and like, hey, this is our private equity company. You're investing in our company, and we're using that money to buy businesses. Essentially, some people will be like, that's like a little too risky for me. I'd rather invest in real estate where they can have it, have a promissory note against the actual real estate. And it's like, hey, that's fine, And those are the people. It's like, okay, if they're not going to invest in me, I'd gladly share them with anyone else who is like looking to do a flip or some kind of other real estate investment. We're just trying to help everyone.
There's plenty of deals to go around. Like honestly, there really is. There's plenty of it. There's abundance of money. There's abundance of all of it.
Yeah, okay? We're just trying to help. And obviously, if you don't have money or you don't have a deal or someone that has money or a deal and they want to invest with us, we'll gladly take care of you too. We'll make it like a little MLM kind of thing.
Oh, man. Oh, my gosh. Okay, so you brought the MLM thing. Dude, I got MLM'd the other night. I was telling Josh back there. Yeah. Josh, can you pull up pull up a pyramid screen?
So for those that don't know,
on the screen. I want to see.
I'm assuming most people know what an MLM is, but if you don't, it's a multi-level marketing. We're laughing about it because
it's a legal pyramid scheme. No, I'm just kidding. No, there's some people probably doing really well with this stuff, and I don't want to knock anyone's.
I don't knock anyone's hustle, but it's in our experience, what we've experienced before with people who try to get us into MLMs.
And I love the hot chick, the hot chick thing that you told me.
We'll get to that. But like MLMs, in our experience, have been pretty deceiving. Like, and I've joined a couple. Like, I was in Primerica. I try to sell life insurance and get people to join. I was in like PFA, and then so what he was talking about. My first taste of getting deceived and being misled by MLM. I wasn't even trying to join. So this was like back in college. I was on Tinder, just swiping away. And then I see this really attractive hot chick, and she was like, hey, do you want to come to this hotel party? And I'm like, hell yeah. I'm like 21. Like, of course I want to come to this hotel party. You're hot. And then she's like, okay, cool. Meet me over here at Hilton. I'm like, okay, cool. So the day comes. I'm like driving there. I'm like, hey, what's your hotel number? And she's like, oh, actually meet me at the ballroom. And I'm like, the ballroom? What the heck? So I go up to the ballroom. This is at the Hilton. I go there, and there's like a bunch of people. And I'm like, whoa, like, what is going on? This is a huge party, right? And then, like, I couldn't find the girl. She wasn't replying back. And then, like, I'm, like, walking towards, like, the room. Like, everyone's going there. And, like, I see this big, giant, like, screen. And it says, become your own boss. And I'm like, oh, my God. Like, get me out of here. So I leave. And then I see her. And I'm like, what the heck is this? And she's like, oh, like, I wanted to introduce you to this opportunity. And I'm like, no.
That makes me laugh, man.
So I left. And the funny thing was, like, I get in the elevator to leave. And there's like these three other guys here just on their phone. They kind of look annoyed too. And like I'm like looking around. I'm like, were you guys here because of that hot chick? And they're like, yeah. And we're all like laughing.
Bro, you got MLM'd.
I got MLM'd. But you got MLM'd recently too,
dude,
right?
It was like a week ago.
Yeah.
Oh, man, I don't even want to talk about it.
Talk about it.
You know what?
Tell
okay,
us,
fine. So there's this guy in the grocery store right over here, right? So I'm in the grocery store, and he just stops me out of nowhere. He's like, you look familiar. I'm like...
Typical.
Me? Yeah, I'm like, me? He's like, yeah. Are you in, like, business or anything? I was like, how do you know that?
Loki stroking your ego,
right? Yeah, he's like, oh, man, And then we started talking, and then he's like, is it okay if I hit you up and pick your brain about stuff? So anyway, I was like, okay, great. He calls me about, like, maybe 4 days later, and he's like, So you mentioned that you're in all this business and real estate and all that, and I think I got a really good investor for you. And this guy,
meet my mentor.
Yeah, exactly. I'm like, seems a little sus, but
Yeah,
all right.
yeah.
So the good thing though is it was right across the street.
Yeah, and keep in mind we're raising capital, so of course we're trying to look for these opportunities.
Yeah, so an investor and wants to invest, so I'm like, okay, well let me check it out. Then he's like, dress business casual. So now I'm like, oh man, I'm always in flip flops and sandals. I don't get dressed up for nobody. So then I throw on some business casual. Good thing it was literally right across the street here at the Blaisdell.
Yeah,
and so I walk across the street. And I'm like, man, this is my favorite time. I love to watch my shows and relax. It's like at 7 or 7:30. So I'm like, man, this is my relaxed time. Whatever. So I go in, and then there's all these motivated individuals.
Oh,
like,
no.
Dude, they're all dressed to the nines.
they're like
and I'm
sipping the Kool-Aid.
yeah,
Right?
bro. I'm telling you, like, by the way, I don't know what's up with these MLM things, but it's like, yeah, there's Kool-Aid.
Yeah, like, oh,
and it's like, drink it. I'm like, whoa, I'm not drinking that stuff.
Yeah.
But you sit down, and the bad thing is the guy seen me, and he put me up front, and I sat there, and I'm like, what is this?
Come join us.
It was exactly that. It was come join us type.
Yeah.
And so anyway, as soon as I knew what was going on, I was like, I already felt suspect about it. And I started texting this guy. I'm like, bro, I think I'm in an MLM. and me and this, I was like, no, don't.
Yeah.
But it was that. I got up and I just ran.
But I think the worst thing is like you didn't even know what MLM like. They were just talking for like 40 minutes.
The problem was I was deceived. Again,
Misled.
Just be straight. Misled.
Yeah.
Just be straight up. Hey, bro, like I think you'd be perfect to join my MLM. But that was not the case.
Like,
I got deceived.
Yeah, misled. And that's why that is why we hate MLMs. We don't hate the people. It's just some of their tactics are very
deceiving.
Like
they deceive
misleading. Like, dude, like I could be at Walmart or Starbucks and I run into like
you, bro.
Yeah,
It's
I run into like an old
on.
high school friend. I'm like catching up. I'm like, oh my god, like this is awesome. Like good days. And it's like, hey, like I just joined this thing, and I'm like, oh
man, yeah, they come from left or from right, left. They come from all around. It's your
like,
family, and like, what?
God.
What's going on? No, I'm
good.
good. Yeah, I'm good.
I'm good.
I'm good. But anyway, all right.
But
so,
enough of that small MLM.
So,
rant.
Jeremy, tell me a little bit about this. Look, you were a real estate guy. You're
Yes.
flipping real estate, right?
Yes.
Why get into business? Why not be like all the other real estate agents that when they graduate to business, what do?
Yeah.
They go into laundromats.
Yeah.
By the way, guys, I'm sorry if I make these little cringe. Like, I love your guys' hustle. By the way, I love it. Keep on doing it. You guys are doing it. It created a saturation in the market, in my opinion. Car washes.
Yeah. Well, not everyone's like can build a $15 million business like you. So, like you were saying, I think
get your hand under the table, bro.
So, okay, real estate, right? We are I would say kind of entrepreneurs. The reason why I say kind of is because like a true entrepreneur, you create a service or a product and then you sell it, right? For realtors, we're selling our services, but it's more so like the product is real estate. It sells itself. We're in Hawaii. It's up to you to be knowledgeable and educate people to get them to like, trust, and know you. And that's how they use your service. And once you nail that, it's like easy. But like a true entrepreneur, you have your overhead, you have rent, you have like all these other stuff that makes it very complex. And, not to discredit realtors, I'm a realtor too, but like that, I feel like we're kind of entrepreneurs, not the full thing. But anyway, like you said earlier, like about the deals and, flipping, it's like real estate, we're just doing it deal by deal. With each flip, it's just like flip by flip. And it's like, if I stop flipping, the money stops coming in. And, obviously people like us, we want to have a good life. We want to be comfortable. We want to be secure. Maybe not everyone wants the Lambo or the nice car or the Tesla. They just want to take care of the family. But the moment you get sick or injured, then, everything stops. Your
business stops.
And I think once realtors realize that, they're like, oh my gosh, like I need to get into a business. And I think, we watch people like Alex Hormozy, Cody Sanchez, and like, I dropped these names like Alex was mentioning earlier, or Anthony was mentioning earlier. He doesn't really know these people because he doesn't really watch content. But for those that are watching, I think people start looking at the car washes and the laundromats because I feel like that is like your graduation going into
which is great. It should be a natural progression.
Yeah, like realtor into like what is an easy hands-off business that I could get into. Once you learn how to be an entrepreneur in that level, then you could be like Anthony and start your auto body shop. It's like a natural progression. Like you know, like a bottle service girl becomes a realtor. You know?
That's a good one, bro. That is.
I'm kidding. No, knock on them,
no.
but,
That's awesome though. Yeah.
Or like or insurance agent goes into a realtor. Like for those that watch my content, like at the beginning, being a realtor is hard, you know, and I didn't think I would make the cut. So I got my life insurance license, and I was like, okay, real estate's not for me. Got my life insurance license. That's what led me to join Primerica and like other MLMs because I was deceived. But anyway, like it's like he said, natural progression. And I think the reason why a lot of realtors or, you know, those kind of sales jobs naturally progress into those businesses is because it's kind of like easy to enter. It's kind of like less hands off, you know, or less hands on.
Right. And then that's, you know, that's great because part of what's amazing about a business, right, is that a real business is when you set it up, you can put processes that essentially protect you. Mm-hmm. Like my biggest thing is that a business or a company should continue to run after I die. I say after I die because I was in the Marine Corps, right? So you have to think if you
so morbid.
Yeah, if you die, they have to be able to keep continuing on without you, right?
Yeah.
So that's why I like to set up my companies. I like to set them up so that if I were not in the picture anymore, they can continue to run. It should be its own thing, right? And
you want to work on the business, not in it.
And like you said, the business is not dependent on me, right? Yeah. And that's how you want your companies to run. You want to put processes in there. You want the company to completely not rely on you. All right. And this is also another thing. Like I do that with my own life, right? I hate filling out paperwork. I hate paperwork. So Tasha back there. So Tasha she's
our assistant.
She's my
or his assistant. Sorry.
So I hate filling. I cannot stand it. Like I'm telling you guys right now, if a deal that should probably take me like maybe like a couple days or something. Well, if I'm by myself, it'll probably take me a month. Because I stress about filling out paperwork. I cannot do it for the life of me. I really can't. It's a fault that I identified and I'm working on it. Right. So,
I think I tweeted about this like the other day, but, what you sound is like very efficient. And I said, efficient people, like really efficient people are really just lazy people working smart.
Yeah. Honestly, pretty much, I guess. But no, yes, you are correct. I'm not going to lie. Yeah. But, you know, you want to set up your life the way, you know, the way
what you want to do it, you know,
what you want to do, guys.
Lifestyle by design.
But a natural progression. Okay. You can move up and wherever you're at, start working on yourself first. Right. And then start to project and start to envision. And that's another thing too. Like I've never even told you this. Like, I don't think I have, but your imagination, like if you have children, force them to use their imagination. That's probably where you got to become a three-dimensional thinker as well. Mm-hmm. Force yourself to become a three-dimensional thinker, right? What I mean by that is
thinking 3D.
Yes. Thinking 3D. No, for sure. Yeah. You have to. If you
be creative. You have to think outside the box. You know, these are like intangible things. And like you said, work on yourself. What are like, I think what you mean by that is like learn some skills, right? Learn some skill sets because people come to me all the time and they ask for help and I'm like, dude, like I can't help you. You have to build your own skill set. And what are some skills people should learn?
Sales, right?
You got to talk to people.
That's
the
biggest
and like
one.
Intangibles, like, you know, when you talk to someone, give them a firm handshake, look them in the eye, you know, and don't give them like some of this stuff.
Right. Yeah. Absolutely.
But absolutely. I think, you know, and we're coming up on the 1 hour mark now, but I think going off of that, let's end like, what would be your best advice? Someone who's young, maybe like they're 18, they don't know if they want to go to college, or maybe they're fresh out of college, they don't know what to do. Someone's like in that mindset. What's some good advice do you have for them?
Man, you've asked me this before.
Yeah.
You know, I'm going to just be straight honest. Like, if you don't know what you want to do, you should probably join the damn military. They'll instill some obedience in you. Mm-hmm. Marine Corps will at least, mm-hmm. and you should probably develop that first. Like, you, not necessarily the military, but you need to like go through something. If you haven't been through anything hard in your life, or tough, or trauma or something, you need to get that, and you get that fast. You need to get some grit, because you need to get it, because if you don't, I take over. I destroy people that don't have grit. I really do. That's why That's why I'm successful. So you need to get that. You need to be able to stand against somebody and think like, I'm going to war, like I'm going to battle. I'm going to destroy these people, right? You got to have that mentality. Mm-hmm. So you need to put yourself in some uncomfortable situations and get good at sales, go door to door, whatever it is that's going to allow you to get grit and get good at something.
Get uncomfortable.
Absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
Get uncomfortable. You have to.
Yeah.
You just have to.
Yeah, going off that, like he said, usually people who experience trauma early in their childhood, like, I'm sorry to say it, but trauma builds character. And that's how you build grit, basically. You do things that you don't want to do. You get in situations that suck, and then, like, you're in a situation, you're like, fuck this. And, like, from there, it's a situation. Do I want to get out of it, or do I just linger?
Right.
And then the true entrepreneurs, the true winners, they're the ones that say, you know what, I don't want to be in this position ever again in my life. I'm going to do whatever it takes to get out of this. But the question that I asked you, what advice do you have for some people who are kind of lost? We'll end it like I'll say my advice too is just like get uncomfortable, get outside your comfort zone, do things that make you uncomfortable. If you're scared to speak to people, if you have like social anxiety, get a sales job. We're sales guys, so we're super biased, but sales teaches you so many other sub skills, like how to talk to people, the intangibles, like if someone gets in the room, get up from your seat, shake their hand, or smile at someone, or don't look at your watch every 5 minutes when you're talking to someone because that's rude. Sales teaches you all these little small things that most people overlook. And I feel like once you master that, you really know how to communicate with others. And essentially that's what sales is communication, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And don't go getting yourself in some bad situations. I mean, just get some grit in you. I mean, don't be me and turn into 50 Cent getting shot twice, by the way.
Yeah.
Or some crazy other stuff. We'll talk about that another time.
Yeah.
I got some other crazy stories.
Yeah.
But just get some grit in you. Get the hustler mentality if you didn't grow up from the ghetto. You got to develop that. If you were like given something, fucking give it back, dude. Like go learn. Like literally, like get in the grind, or else you're not. Unfortunately, you're gonna. There's weak people out there and there's strong people.
Yeah.
You want to be strong. You want to be weak. It's really up to you.
I like that, dude. And I think that will be a great topic to go on our next episode, like going through rough times. So I think we'll talk about that, right?
Let's do it.
All the rough times we both did. But anyway, guys, if you made it this far, thank you so much. This is our first official episode of our podcast, the Acquisition Podcast. Please like and subscribe. And if you found any gems in this, comment it in the comments below. We'd love to hear your feedback. But thank you guys again for watching. I'm Jeremy.
Anthony Jones. Peace.
Thank you guys for watching. We'll see you next time.
Thanks.